What do we have for the twid? I'm seeing some things in the chat. We got Solstice is going to end soon. Warlock abilities tuning preview for 9.1. Okay. A lot of complaints about Warlocks recently. Mainly the fact that they are very tired of like buddies-based builds like Hellion and Arc Buddy and the Void Buddies and all the buddies. I don't know if they're going to be able to really do anything about that for this update. I would be surprised. That seems much more like a longer term problem for them to solve through like more aspects or fragments or something like that. The buddy builds are all like amazing. Don't get me wrong. Like they're good, but I get being tired of that play style of like I generate some sort of a thing that helps me do other things, right? You want to do something different. And there's only so many builds like that. Seeing great uses of the Warlock constructs, Child of the Old Gods, Bleak Watcher, blah, 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 deeper build crafting with these constructs. So all the things we just said. Few builds are starting to stand out like Prismatic build, leveraging Lightning Surge to effectively delete champions at a moment's notice. Yep. What was it? People calling it like electric slide. Happy with how players are building into the above abilities. We're seeing feedback and working on a handful that aren't felt to be as potent. This limits variety in build crafting. We're looking to address that. Full strand abilities don't shine as brightly as we wish. Do. Okay. Tuning pass in Ash and Iron, otherwise known as 9.1.0, coming in early September. Still testing these changes, finalizing everything how it should work. Okay. Abilities. Empowering Rift. Standing in Empowering Rift now generates grenade, melee, and class ability energy over time. Final blows when standing in Empowering Rift now generate bonus special and heavy ammo progress. I feel like they have done like a bunch of things to make Empowering Rift more tantalizing in the past, but like the stability of healing has just never really gone away, right? Like it's nice to use because it's safe. Like, you know, you're going to live and you can have all of your offense come from all of your weapons and stuff like that, right? Now, I mean, like, dude, it's boosting everything. All of your abilities except for your super and giving you more ammo progress. Like, I do want to obviously see, like, you know, how much are we talking here? Is it a noticeable amount of energy, right? But, like, now we're definitely talking. Yeah, you got some Starfire synergy in there as well. Now we're talking, man. We'll see. So many like Rift-based, exotics for Warlock as well. I'm not going to get into that right now because we'll be here all freaking day. Okay, they really want people to try to pick Empowering Rift, and I don't blame them, man. Healing Rift is just too stable. It's too safe, you know? Like, why would you ever give that up when Empowering Rift is like, you know, half the seasons out of the year, there's something in the artifact that's just like, whenever you sneeze, you gain Radiant. So it's like, why do I need Empowering Rift? I can just get Radiant super easily. Okay, I'm down. Let's see. Weave Walk, strand aspect. Exiting Weave Walk now grants Woven Mail for you and nearby allies. Woven Mail duration is relative to time spent in Weave Walk. Increased horizontal movement on enter and exit. Increased fragment slots from 2 to 3. I think the fragment slots is huge there. Yeah, we last explored Weave Walk. God, I want to say like Season of the Witch is the last time I really messed around with Weave Walk. And I could be wrong. That could have been like the season that it actually came out. But that's just the last time I remember using it. Exiting Weave Walk, giving Woven Mail is like, it's cool. But during Weave Walk, I mean, like, you're just incorporeal. And like Threadlings are okay. But I saw some people saying like Threadlings are getting buffed. So we'll get to that in a second. But like, you're just kind of like standing around doing some Weave Walk stuff, like moving around from place to place. And then you have to kind of rely on your Threadlings to do the things. And the Threadlings are just kind of okay. So I don't know how much like the Woven Mail is going to contribute here. Woven Mail is very good. I think it depends on how long the duration is. Like, how often can you go in and out of Weave Walk to, you know, maintain a high level of Woven Mail. Yeah, I definitely see it being more of a PvP issue, so we'll see what's going on there. But PvE wise, I think, I don't know, again, like the fragment slots is like probably one of the bigger things. Like being able to cram in another like Threadling based fragment into your setup is probably the bigger deal. Weaver's Call now generates roosted Threadling progress when giving damage of any type. Threadling damage now returns class ability energy. Works on all Threadling damage while this aspect is equipped. Okay. Stealth hatchling buff. Yeah. I think that they need to buff hatchlings, Threadlings in general, which I think people said. Yeah, there you go. Threadlings increase damage versus combatants by 20%. That I want to see in full force. I want to see how good Threadlings are now with that damage boost. That is an indirect buff to Hatchling. I've been coping for a little while, hoping that Hatchling was going to get buffed. It is getting indirectly buffed through Threadling damage, so that is nice. Weaver's Call, by the way, activate your class ability to weave 3 Threadlings and deploy any Threadlings you have perched. Targets defeated by strand damage have a chance to generate a perched Threadling. So yeah, I'm very happy that they're trying to boost Threadlings. Like, I think Threadlings are very neat, even if, again, they are like another buddy-based thing, especially for Warlock. But like, they've been like not spectacular for a while. They've not been super spectacular. I don't really see that many Threadling builds out there. So I'm interested to see how all this ends up coalescing, because I do think like the actual aspect and like thing that Weavewalk does, I do think is neat. It's just, it's never really felt that powerful. And Weaver's Call is also, it's fine, right? It's fine. Frost Pulse. Freezing enemies now generates class ability energy, works on all stasis freezes while this aspect is equipped. Okay. Stasis Warlock has generally been good. Casting your Rift generates a shockwave that freezes nearby combatants, in case you didn't know what that did. Yeah, so Frost Pulse now, like, you can potentially, I mean, again, how much class ability energy we talking here? But now you can potentially use this almost like a you guys remember Vesper of Radius? Like when that thing was popping off and you were just like going around dropping rifts all the time, just constantly blinding and disorienting enemies. And like, we did like a Fallen Saber run. Like, Fallen Saber was the perfect place for Vesper of Radius. That's essentially what I'm getting from this buff for Frost Pulse was. I mean, it probably is like a good setup, right? Vesper Radius. I don't think they've done anything to it, but I also just don't remember. So, but that's the energy I'm kind of getting from Frost Pulse, and like works on all stasis freezes when this aspect is equipped. So like, you can use, you know, like Aggers just got like a huge boost as well from this. And Aggers is already one of the best weapons in the game. Pocket Singularity, Void and Prismatic. So this is the throwing. 2 charges at base. Projectile lifetime increased from 1.1 to 2 seconds. Reworked projectile tracking to favor targets closest to initial trajectory. Reduced detonation knockback on players by 50%. I feel like all I've heard recently from like PvPers is that handheld Supernova is like really good, and now you're buffing it. And I was around back in the day when I was actually playing a lot of PvP, and handheld Supernova was doing some ridiculous things. Oh, is this different from handheld Supernova? Hang on. What am I thinking of? The basic melee. Never mind. Yeah, that's the overcharge. Yeah. I know it says melee, but I just thought Pocket Singularity was like the handheld Supernova. It's the last time I played on freaking handheld Supernova, right? Either way, I know that PvPers are like annoyed with this melee. Now, reducing the knockback on players might help, but I think you got to talk to PvPers on this one, because I have not played PvP with any amount of seriousness in months, if not years at this point. But I have heard, check Gary's tweet, let me see, because like I hear about it every now and then from the boys in Discord, because they do a lot of PvP. Double one of the best melees. Yeah, this seems more directed at PvE as a result, which like I think it needed, because Pocket Singularity, like it's neat. It wasn't the craziest thing in the world. So yeah, PvPers, I would maybe be worried. Even the 50% knockback nerf will still F you up. You know what something might be cool would be like some sort of like drain attack, like where it's almost like where you target an enemy and you can do some sort of like a siphon type move where you like lock onto an enemy and like sort of like a Child of the Old God, but in like in melee form could be kind of cool. I'm thinking like Drain Soul. Give me your little chomper, just little baby boy. All right, exotic armor. Eunoia is the Hellion, the new Hellion exotic that basically just like buffs your Hellion. Increase projectile damage at max range from 15 to 20%. Tune distance damage curve to make the maximum damage distance easier to identify. Okay. Projectile tracking by 40% up. In addition to the primary projectile, the sub-projectiles now benefit from Ember of Ashes and Ember of Eruption. Okay. And we'll get some clarity on that for people. Ashes, I still look through them all individually. You apply more scorch dash to targets, and then Eruption. Your solar ignitions have increased area of effect. Yeah, I still haven't memorized all the names of them. Okay, nice buff. I know people are kind of underwhelmed with Eunoia at the start, even though like I do think Hellion, generally speaking, is good, but giving it a little more juice, you know, I think that's okay. But I do think like it's still good, right? It's still very good. They're just making it even better now. Yeah, I'm fine with that. And then Threadlings, yeah, increase damage versus combatants by 20%. I mean, I do like Threadling. Like, I want hatchling to be a perk that I see and being like, oh, nice. Hatchling. Like, because just for most of the time, I have not been excited by it at all. So I am very interested to see where some of this threadling stuff goes. I would love to make a threadling build and have it like actually be pretty good. I think this has been needed for like a little while now. I've been coping, so maybe start saving a couple of hatchling weapons, and we'll see what ends up happening in the patch. Upcoming fixes. Okay. Confirmed an issue where Starfire Protocol was not returning as much energy as expected on empowered hits. Fix this issue, raising it to the intended 5%. With the fix deploying in 9007. Crown of Tempest issue where Crown of Tempest no longer gains stacks on multi-kills. Okay. Rhyme Coat generated stasis crystals inconsistently. Where Rhyme Coat Raiment generated stasis crystals inconsistently applied Devour when feed the boys. Okay, fine. Boosted the assembler noble rounds won't work on a teammate that enters Warlock's Rift. Okay. Conclude that we missed a patch note with Edge of Fate's release on Wings of Sacred Dawn. It is intended that Wings no longer reloads your equipped weapon, as this led to some problematic behaviors around single-shot magazine weapons such as bows. Ooh, okay. Controversy doesn't return as much energy as expected. After investigation, we believe this to be true, with some combatants in the firing range only. Saw reports of the regeneration buff no longer working during multi-kill streaks, and this may have been resolved in 9005 along with the sprint bug. Okay. Crucible power and rewards. Talk about some of the changes we're working on to continue to improve the feel of rewards and progression across the game. One of the areas was Crucible Ops. We got more details. Shipped 9006 with a handful of changes targeting post-match reward frequencies, in addition to raising the floor reward to have less disparity between low and high skill. Here's a list of updates. Everyone in a match now has a chance to earn an additional role as opposed to one player per team. The competitive weapon has a chance to drop on completion instead of wins. Lowered the B score threshold for rank rewards copper and bronze in between 10 and 300. It makes it easier to earn bonus drops. Increase the tier gear for B plus at reward ranks bronze and silver. That's 200 to 400. Okay. More changes coming in 9.1, increasing bonus drop frequency when playing Crucible Ops, increasing the amount of score earned on losses, retuning score thresholds for all grades at reward ranks copper and bronze to make earning higher power and gear tier more consistent, increasing the highest potential gear tier at reward ranks copper, bronze, and silver, increasing power adjusters for PvP. We're not done. We're not stopping with Crucible and have more PvE reward changes coming in the future, including with Desert Perpetual Raid. Okay, we'll share more in the weeks ahead. Okay, as someone who has done none PvP to level, I think I've done one match for like a bunch of bonus drops, and that's it. I have very little context of power leveling in Crucible, but all of this seems like increasing bonus drops, increasing score, increasing highest potential gear, retuning score thresholds, increasing. Any of this bad? It doesn't look like any of this is bad at all. And I realize, I know what channel you're in right now. Like, we're the PvE guys. Of course we complain when we have to enter PvP. But looks good to me from the outside looking in. It's going to be very difficult to make anything more compelling than the solo ops mines like Caldera and K1 when you can do those activities as quickly as you can do them, right? For some people, they're able to do it so ridiculously fast that no amount of tuning that Bungie ever does will ever be enough to get those people out of the solo ops. For everyone else, on the other hand, that's who they need to be looking at. Like, the people who are going to optimize the hell out of that stuff, like, you're never going to be able to satisfy those people. You got to look at the whole player base. As a result, try to make it as balanced as you can, right? Certain activities are going to take longer than others, but like Crucible, which has a pretty static duration, like, I don't know, I guess you got to be like mercying another team, right? To have like a 3-minute PvP match or something like that. Most matches are probably not getting mercied. So they have like a pretty static duration that needs to be balanced against the rest of like the PvE offerings in the game. So it looks good. It looks good from the outside looking in. It looks good. And they fixed that issue with like, did they fix? I think they said they deployed a hotfix where, like, if you were 450 and you were playing in PvP, you weren't getting like tier 5s or whatever. A lot of people like lost their minds for like 2 hours, and then they fixed it like in the same day or whatever. It looks good. It looks good from the outside looking in. Something about an emblem. So for the emblem gremlins here, donate $25 today to this worthy cause to snag the new Tartan Tribute emblem. Campaign will run until the 28th. Emblems will be given out on the 29th. Bungie Foundation is once again partnering with Ronald McDonald House Charities to support their amazing work and providing services. Blah, 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 blah. So, any gremlins, there's your new emblem. Looks good. Excited about Threadlings. Very interested to see where this Empowering Rift buff lands, because I would love more reason to actually use Empowering Rift. Again, it's just... Healing Rift is just so normie. It's very normie friendly. Like, normies like that stability of being alive and having that consistency of healing and not feeling like, you know, that they're panicking all the time. So very interested to see how juicy these Empowering Rift bonuses are. But like, hey, dead DPS is no DPS, right? So I get it, man. I get it.